All right, excellent. We're live. All right, Hunter x Hunter. We're going to do the episode 135, and then we're going to do chapter 345. And it's pretty powerful on both ends. One was what kind of made you cry, and one kind of made you want to run. It's kind of Prince the Ripper. But let's go ahead and get to that was some crazy stuff. All right,
Yeah.
now right here on the first page, I don't even know. This is something I don't understand. Okay, it's Gon and Ging, and I'm glad they can talk like this. I'm glad at least they're like this. This makes me very happy. So the whole thing about his aura, he goes, when I was with you, it was coming out fine. So does that mean when Ging was around him? So does that mean when he's around people that have Nin, his Nin activates, or does it was just talking like in the past? Like,
Uh, didn't he say that he met Gon only after he got back from fighting the Chimera ants?
yeah, that's right. It would have to be because they first met whenever he came back from getting brought back to life. So I guess that the other possibility isn't there. So that means that whenever Ging was with him, that he had Nin, right?
Yeah, it probably is just a way to tell us, like, Gon can't use Nen, but he still has it.
Right.
So, like, I don't think it means that Gin has an ability to make other people, have Nen or anything like that.
So and I like the whole thing about Gang but he just tells him it's like he gets a lot of tough love in here. Gon does. He's like, look, you wanted to be returned to normal. You're almost dead, and you made it back. And wanting anything more than that is just asking for punishment. Rather, you should just be happy. So, what do you guys think of page one?
Yes, that fatherly tough love.
Honestly, I'm surprised he's even talking to Gon
On the phone like that.
at all. Like, how long it took Gon to find him, and every single time Gon got close, he always like gave him the slip and ran away. And then it's just like, oh yeah, we're on a talking basis now. Like, okay.
I like it. I like it. I'm happy to see it. You know, but Ging is still being Ging though.
Yeah, and Gon is just like his dad. When he's talking to Mito later, he's like,
Yeah.
like whatever. And he's so nonchalant about everything.
Yeah. Wait, on the bottom panel, they already in a boat or something?
Okay.
It looks like a boat going to the that submarine.
I think Jin is in the boat, right?
Gaina's in a boat?
Yeah, isn't he going to the island with Beyond and all that stuff, or not? Am I mistaken?
Like everybody's going to the dark continent, but they showed the submarine. So this panel looks like they on a boat to the submarine to go to the dark continent.
Let me see something.
Now I'm gonna
Oh,
have
you
to
know,
turn
no,
back.
you know what it is? I got it. Gon is sitting in like a harbor when he's talking to Gin, and that boat that we see, I guess, is either the tail end of the boat that brought him, or like the boat is leaving the island, and then it shows the next page. Gon is on the island with Nika, is that? Nika? I can't remember, but it's on the island with her. So yeah, that's what that boat was. That
Oh,
was.
so alright, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so we're on Gon on the next page. Gon is gone home to visit his cousin.
Steve, I can barely hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, a
Yeah,
little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so I like the whole thing here. I like how it turns around, and not a lot of dialogue, a lot of pictures. Let's see.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm on the part where They're actually got dialogue on top. And,
Yeah, the website's kind of giving me problems right now. I might have to switch to a different website. Yeah.
okay.
Are you past the page when they're like cooking and eating?
Yeah, well, right now it's when like Mito's like with Ging. Oh, I'd probably just have been tagging along, dragging it down.
That's
But
it, Mito. That's her name, Mito.
yeah, Mito. And I might have gone with him. Okay, let me get the whole thing. Okay, and then he starts getting into the whole relationship. I can't really put it into words well, but it's not that I was thinking I wanted to beat Ging, but it's that finding Ging was my goal. And I think I only realized this once I had actually met him. We talked and all this. It's rather than a father. I love this. It's rather than a father. I get the feeling that Ging was this amazing relative of mine. I'd heard all these rumors and stories about him. So he doesn't really, he knows he's related, but he's just, he didn't raise him, they didn't bring up, so he doesn't really think of him as his
No,
father.
he doesn't feel any fatherly love towards him at all.
Yeah.
And Gon says too, like just like how he isn't a good father, I'm probably not a good son.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I loved about that is when Mito, I mean, this is a problem when you attack. Okay, she's like, Mito's like, well, that's to be expected. That guy doesn't have any of the qualities you'd expect from a father, nor any kind of experience or skill at it. So she's slamming, in her mind, she's slamming Ging. But it just doesn't register, and that's her cousin, right? But it just doesn't register that it's also kind of it's like a grenade that went off and some fragments is going to hit Gon. That's his son, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're always saying that, Mito. But I guess in a way that I'm not a good. It's the same way I have the same qualities because I'm not very good at being a son either. And she gets all freaked out because she's like, "Wait a minute, I didn't mean that," And then he goes through the whole thing. So I love that whole thing. But I love that he's got squared away that this guy is biologically his father, but he's more like just an awesome relative. And Mito, even though that's his cousin, that's the woman that raised him, so that's his mother. So I love he's got this all squared away.
Yeah.
I like the line on page 5 from the top where he says, I feel like if I had my Nen, he said, but if I could use Nen again and feel Ging's strength and brilliance for myself, I think I'd want to have to go. I think I would have thought I want to go along. So in other words, like the only reason why he would want to follow him would be like out of respect for his power. Like out of respect for like who he is as a hunter, rather than any connection that he has with Gon.
Yeah. Yeah. An amazing relative. Yeah. It's yeah. Yeah, I like it. And then and then we get to the whole part about him. I love this. This is, I mean, how many people are going to do this? And then we get to the reality. Okay, for me, when Ging, this is what I said, when Gon met Ging, it really wasn't the end. It isn't. I think it's not officially the end until it's processed, until a person figures out what it all means. And as soon as Gon has got it all figured out what Ging means to him and everything, then here comes Mito, and she's like, hey, well, since you're not a hunter anymore, here's all this paperwork because you're a kid and you should be in school and all this other stuff that's come out, right?
Yeah.
And, oh, my God, reality. Just, welcome back
Wait,
to
so
reality.
is he literally not a hunter anymore because he lost his Nen?
Well, he's not an active hunter. I think he's still probably got his license. I don't think they're.
Because you can be a hunter without Nen. Like, when
I
Gon
don't think
passed
it's.
the test.
Yeah, Michael. I don't think it's an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that, and that's not what I meant. But he's not actively using his NIN. I think he's still got his license. I don't think he can use it like that. So.
It's pretty much like he's taking a break. He's an inactive person right now.
Yeah, but he can't without Nin. So, and she's like, well, back to reality. But he's a kid. See, he's still a kid. So it's like Department of Social Services, Education Division has sent you 4 semesters worth of tests and textbooks, right?
It's just hilarious when you think of everything Gon's been through, like, dating Tom, growing into the giant figure that he had to defeat the king. Like, the way he's killed people and how psycho he's acted. None of that would suggest he's a kid, and yet now she's like, okay, you're a child, back to back to a child's life.
Exactly. What she says at the beginning is, "Don't you get me started. Kids that actually go to school have to work 100 times harder."
Yeah.
What are you saying, Sean?
No, I was agreeing. I said, yeah.
Oh, okay. And I want to say in closing, the thing is, okay, so what is Gon's? So right there, he's like, okay, so he doesn't even have motivation that much. He's just kind of relaxed, right? I think that what Mito has done has him motivated to get his Nin back and get the hell off that island. I don't think he could go back to Whale Island in a real sense anymore. He's gonna do whatever he has to take to get him back to be a hunter.
Mm.
That's my opinion. I think because Tagashi's big in motivation. I think Mito just lit a fire under him. I don't think she intended to do it, but I think that's exactly what happened. So now that's what he's gonna do. And he'll be doing something for himself too, which makes more sense. Okay, now I'm on the part where Ging is with the crew. Now, did you notice that he created the problem of saying everybody has to take money, and then when we get to, I just went past that page, and then when they divide them into this group and that group, you notice how he gives this kind of this speech where, let's see, what does he say? Where does he say it? Oh, not one of us will listen to a single order from one of your orders, just like you have guests who are all hired by beyond a pairs of notes. Let's see. Well, anyway, he said something. I think maybe I missed it about how if you were just doing it for the money, you wouldn't be that great or something. Must have skipped past it.
Are you talking about Gin saying that?
Yeah, Ging saying that, yeah, or however it's pronounced. But, okay. Well, anyway, then he goes past the whole thing that they're saying they're not that good. And he's like, no. Have you noticed each step of this? First, Harrison lied, okay? He acted like he was running this, and that it wasn't, and Beyond wasn't connected, and that they were going to hunt Beyond when they got there. So Beyond is actually the guy that's in charge. So Ging saw that, right? He saw through that. And also these guys are like, he says, there isn't just 10 of you. You guys are specialists. Probably each one specialized to overcome certain obstacles when we get there. And there's not just 10 of you. So each part of this, Ging is just completely seen through this, right? Originally, you all became hunters for the sake of this journey. You're all a collection of the necessary skills and abilities to deal with every cruel, unknown environment situation you might encounter. Beyond as a leader most definitely planned at least this far ahead, right? And Pearson's like, this is trouble. Okay? Because he's really seeing it, the whole thing, right?
Yeah, the whole thing is just like bothering him because there's a person that can match him, like psychologically, which is Ging.
Oh yeah. And then we start getting into the inner Periston, right?
Rather than matching him psychologically, I think what Periston is worried about is that Gin understands how his mind process works, and Gin knows how to counter him completely.
Yeah.
That's what he's pissed off about. Like he's unraveling Periston's plans. And go ahead, Steve.
It says real cowards would never go out to the Dark Continent in order to simply get their hands on some money, would they? That's the line where he's able to throw away what he had said before, basically, about you have to take the money. So, and the whole thing with Periston, that's probably why I hate him. You're pretending you other watching, but you guys are all sharpening your skills. So he knows, yeah, exactly. He knows what this guy's been doing. what? Okay, then the big thing with his what I will want to do to that person I've come to hate. I wonder.
What page are you on?
Skipping past. It's probably like page 11 years. It's 10. It's one's got
10?
huge Ging. Yeah, it's got Ging's face, huge, gigantic blow up, and it says that also means everyone, including more than just you. You're right. That's what Ging says. So on mine it's 10, but yours it might be a little bit.
It's the page where Ging and Harrison are both big panels.
Well, it's just Ging's big face. Page 10 is. I wonder about this, and then there's the big panel, like you said, comparison at the bottom. But somewhere in here he said, I've never hated anyone before. I think I skipped over that. But now
Yeah,
Harrison
that's at
hates.
the end. Harrison says it.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? Considering what Harrison does when he likes something, having him hate you might be the best thing in the end.
Oh, it's the one before that. I know what you're talking about. Is this the one that you was talking about? It says, "This so irritating, I might end up hating someone for the first time."
Um, that's a line I want, but that may not be the page I was on. Let me go back. It's the one that has Ging. It's at the top. It's just his big head at the top. Very top of it.
So what's going on now, shifting gears? What's going on with this prince?
Well, hold on. We're not there yet. Because that's an awesome discussion to have, man. That's an incredible discussion. Okay, and then we get into a lot of this chat. We got the new characters that we're seeing. Let's see what else is here. You return the money. Okay, and they're kind of figuring out that, well, they're just kind of pointing out that he's got an amazing amount of money. Okay, now we're getting to the prince, right? I was kind of surprised. We get to the whole panel. There's no dialogue, and you get the two girls dancing, right? Some like mega club, right? Some huge club.
Yeah.
Now, remember, what I was thinking was that the problem. I should tell it wrong. I thought Karupka was going to want to whack the guy and then find out he was like a good guy, right? And that would create the problem. But wow, was I wrong? Wow.
He seems a lot darker, right?
Oh, well, at the beginning, it falls into line with what I'm thinking. It's like, oh, make yourselves at home in order not to become too detached from the real world. So I'm like, oh, this guy's like a recluse, right? He's afraid of the world. He's a recluse. He's probably a good guy. I like to hear stories from all different kinds of people. And they're talking to you live yourself, and well, I know people here like this, so I'm never lonely, right? And I'm just thinking that's what Krupka's going to have to deal with. And then we get to the next page. And holy cow, blood. This is Prince the Ripper.
Yeah, like why he's slaughtering these innocent women and then, like washing off their blood off his body. Like, is that his Nen ability or something? Does he have Nen? Who knows? But weird. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think he's skinning him. Well, he's what's up with those girls? All he wanted to talk about was fashion and money. He talks about all these different things, Hagel and stocks and gold, or, whatever. He's bitching to the smart guy because he should pick him out better. He says if they were mere pigs or fish, then it's really nothing more than simply slaughtering and filleting or butchering. Is it right? It's not right or something. And he's talking about that force. Okay, and I guess it's a big line. What I want is to create a new inspired form of art birthed from the despair of the bright and shining youths of this nation as they're forced to face both the extremes of the world. Whoa! And then the blood splatter. So this guy is so now it's going to be the opposite problem with group. Now he's going to find an absolute monster, right? Is there anything about that? Is there anything about the prince so far you want to talk about? Or,
Oh man, I had a thought. It just went away.
no,
Keep going.
I
All right.
like. I
Yeah, go
said
ahead.
I like. I know I'm jumping on pages again, but I like how he's being connected to Kurapika, with the eyes. Like he's like a collector of art and everything, and he's got, I guess, Kurapika's clan's eyes.
Yeah.
And I just really like how he's set up to be this really evil, sick kind of individual. It makes it much more exciting when Kurapika will infiltrate and or whatever, confront him and try to steal those eyes back. Whatever, like what Kurapika will do. Like, will the darkness of this man be like a setting point for the real darkness in Kurapika? You know?
It's gonna. Yeah. Oh, exactly. It's gonna point. We can get there pretty quick. That's like the last page. Okay, the page with Cheadle. They're basically this guy's just telling the hunters that if anything goes wrong with Beyond, they're gonna take the fall. And then the whole thing about this is something you guys might want to spend some time on, but we could fly through it. The whole thing with Beyond having him sign the paperwork, okay, whatever. He was going to do that anyhow, right?
Yeah, it looks like he wants all of this to happen to him.
He expected. He had it planned out. And then we go to the place where they have at the top. We have the Zodiacs. They talk about the three things they need: capacity, the means, and then of course it's all messed up. Now you get two women that are going to get slaughtered by the prince, and then you get Ging. And I actually like this because the girl that was always asking the questions of Ging is like his assistant now, right? It looks like, and that's the contract. And then at the bottom we get into who I'm starting to like. They kind of security police. Kind of the law enforcement hunter, right? And then we get exactly, it's the last page, but we get into exactly what you're talking about, which is Kurupika is sitting here and he's like, hey, there's two other people that said they'd rather die than give up the eyes, and they don't convince them. So going along with what you say, what happens when he finds somebody so crazy that they're, heck, he's probably going to try to get the eyes from Kurupika's eyes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He isn't going to be able to deal with this guy. And what happens when Kurupika finds out this? What a piece of work this guy really is. Can he walk away from it even if he gets the eyes? So
Yeah,
I
think Kurapika is. I don't know why, but he seems so different from the last time he was, in the manga. Like, he was happy when he left the, that arc with the Phantom Troop. He was, satisfied knowing that the leader was gone, and he didn't seem like he was bent on revenge anymore. It seemed like he was content with having gone and killed as friends. Now he seems to be like, in his solace, he has, once again gotten to this dark place, and it feels like that this arc with this prince or whatever is merely going to be the opening hand, the opening act of Kurapika, like really going all out, like going nutso, like
Yeah.
kicking back the eyes, and possibly like really giving into his anger and hatred and whatnot. I'm excited to see what happens with it.
This is going to be awesome. And the thing is the last chapter really showed, right in the first page, is that he's isolated himself from those guys, right?
Right.
And he's like, I've got nobody. And even when Leorio keeps reaching out to him, he doesn't see it. In his mind, he's got nobody, and he sees that this, even when he gets it done, it leaves him nowhere. So yeah.
No, I was gonna say, do you think all his abilities works well when he's like in that state of mind? Because all the times when he used his abilities, he was by himself, and he always saying that he's alone by himself. I gotta do this by myself.
Well, he can't use his abilities against like what he used against the spiders, the chains.
Yeah.
That doesn't work unless they're part of the spider organization. I think when he gets angry, that he doesn't need to use the chain ability in order to gain like all specialization category. Is that how that works? I don't remember now.
Well,
Remember
yeah, his
eyes glow
clan,
red?
his clan, when they get angry, they become specialists.
Right.
Their eyes go red. Yeah.
I'm saying when his eyes glow red, he gains the category of specialist, right?
Yes.
Okay. And and what have they been saying? They've been saying we need a specialist to go to the Dark Continent. So there you go. Kurapika's a specialist. That's cool. I guess that means he'll be going to the Dark Continent.
Well, they could find a use for him. Yeah. Well, he doesn't even see that. I mean, he's like you say, he's changed. He's committed himself. He's isolated himself so much to achieve his goal. It's like he's lost himself. So yeah, you're right. What kind of fallout and all this is going to be? And I want to bring in another thing is the relationship between Leorio and Kurapika is, I don't know how that's going to go. I mean, that may, I just finished watching Yu Yu Hakusho, so with Togashi, it's not 100% that there may be some elements to that relationship. Some people may be uncomfortable. I'm just throwing it out there. Saying.
Hmm.
So this could go all kind of different weird directions. But,
I think Leorio is just going to be a character used to save Kurapika from the darkness when it consumes him. That's what I think. Like he'll show up at some point later on in the arc, and he'll be there for Kurapika, and that'll be how like Kurapika, doesn't lose it.
Like a support system?
What's that?
Like a support system?
Yeah, like Leorio is pretty much like Kurapika's support. He was like that in the other arc too.
yeah, but Togashi kind of does kind of keep things growing and developing. But I don't know. We'll see. What I'm mainly saying is there's a lot of potential. I've seen what Togashi can do. This can go in all kind of different directions instead of just something predictable.
Wait, I have a question. Have we ever seen Kurapika attack without his chains, just his eyes?
Well, part of his thing is that he can't use. He's not supposed to. What he's limited on using his. Well, he had it where it was mainly he could just use the chains on the, or the full force of them on the spiders, right? That was part of the limiting factor condition.
But does he has any abilities just with his eyes alone?
Well, specialist. This is what we're talking about. If he goes nuts, once his eyes are red, he's a specialist.
Yeah, I believe at that point when his eyes go red, he gets doesn't he get like the strength of an enhancer, and all like the best attributes of all the classes? Something towards that effect.
He can use them as if he can use any of those abilities as if that's his main ability.
Right. And that has nothing to do with his chains, because his chains were only created for the spiders.
Right.
Yeah.
So then maybe what Kurapika will actually do, or maybe what we'll see him do, is he'll just have a new weapon. Because theoretically, if he could make a chain for the spiders, why can't he create another weapon? Right?
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure he's going to have something else that he's probably already forgotten. I mean, we all know he's going to have some new abilities or something, right? So I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. And before, I said I was going to do the anime first, but oh well, I guess that didn't happen. But I didn't know the chapter and went after it. But anyway, so any predictions or anything you want to backtrack on for this one or anything, Hunter x Hunter?
Well,
Non-anime.
on the last panel, I guess we ain't gonna have a chapter next week because it says no chapter next week.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
Yep, the first of hopefully not so many chapter breaks.
Yeah, the hiatus fear is always there, isn't it?
I gotta say, I really like how, in case you haven't noticed, I'm sure you have, Steve, there's a theme going on. Like, Togashi's introducing the Dark Continent, and, like, everything in the manga is dark. Gon doesn't have his powers. Kurapika's acting all angry, and there's this prince committing murders, and there's this uncertainty feeling, with beyond Netero, and like all these things that are happening is just like creates a sense of dread, and it's all centered around the dark continent. Even the last page, it says like, on the bottom, the darkness of the dark continent casts a shadow over people.
Yeah.
It's like it's affecting the whole world already. We haven't even gotten to the dark continent yet, and it's affecting like everybody. I just thought that was really awesome.
All the reviewers I've seen, this is something that's different. Normally these arcs start off kind of they do start off kind of slow, but the anticipation, like what you're saying, is I can't wait to see what's going on. I mean, I love how he just brings it out, And and by the way, I told Sean I finished watching all Yu Yu Hakusho. So I finished all 112 episodes of that. So I feel like I got a better grasp on Gashi's doing at least some insights. But yeah, I can't wait. It's just this is an amazing series. All right, anything from this, or are we ready to go to the anime?
Yeah, let's go to anime.
Yeah, I was wanting to do this first to get the tears out of the way first, and then go dark. But I guess we're going to go to tears. So it was a pretty good one. I went back. It was like what was it? 314 through 318. They pulled back stuff out of those chapters. I think episode 135, and right one here. So anyway, it was there was the situation with Palm, right, and the king in the beginning, which was okay. It was interesting. It was interesting because they how Higashi makes things complex. Palm, because she's part ant, realizes when the king is in there that his kneeling is. She realizes how that just shouldn't happen, right?
It literally bothers her that he's kneeling, and the reason why it bothers her is because as an ant, she feels like he's God.
Yes. She's the epitome of what a Chimera is. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's just funny because the intense emotions of Palm and like a confliction between her humanity and her ant side, and like the reason why she's crying is literally because as an ant she feels like she understands just how amazing this person is in front of her, and as a human he's denying her entire reason for fighting him because he's saying I just want to be he's acting human basically.
Yeah.
So because he's acting human, it's doing one of two things. Actually, it's doing two things. The first thing it's doing is it's pissing off her ant side because her ant side reveres him like a god. And then the second thing it's doing is it's making her human side feel compassion for him because he's acting like a normal person. Like he just
wants to see his girl. Yeah.
Just wants to die in peace, and he just wants to, he says, "You guys won," like humans won, and it's just an amazing, clash of feelings and everything. It's really well done.
Yeah, and it's disarming. He's surrendering, and then you contrast all this bundle that's happening with the plan to stretch this out and let him die before he sees her. Right? So that was the plan, right? Palm's got the plan. We're going to do it. We're going to stretch it out. We're going to do this. And then the reality of the situation just completely blows her away. So, yeah, that was pretty good. There's a lot of stuff there. Okay, Poof. Like I said, we can always go back, whatever. Yeah, Poof's dying. I still say he was a great character to hate. I think a lot of people agree with me that, but I think he was just a great character. He died fighting for the beliefs way he wanted the Chimera to be, his doctrine, his way. And he was a dirtbag, but at least he had his, he was true to his beliefs. So I think Poof was an awesome character.
Yeah, I agree. I think thought he died sprinkling the dust of for the people.
Well, yeah, and I like the way he died. He's sitting there, and all the hypnotized people are standing around him.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can see
they
his.
fell on the floor.
Yeah, you can see his work right there. Anything about Poof, or you just want to move on?
He was always loyal to the, his race or whatever. He had that instilled loyalty, and that's basically what his character was. His character was like the personification of loyalty, and like he was like the tactician of the royal guards.
He was
And consistent.
he was consistent, but see, whereas the king made this big journey to humanity, Poof never made that trip.
Never made the trip where?
Toward humanity.
Oh yeah,
Yuppie did, right?
yeah. Well,
And the king.
he experienced it. Yuppie. He didn't actually like make the trip towards it.
Well, anyway, I'm mincing words, but he actually felt compassion. He saw it. He was affected by humanity, and so that was it was a good contrast, the two of them right there. And let's see, the thing between Beans and Morel about field hunters and office jockeys. I I love that. He's like, hey, look, when you're in the field, you just trust your partner, right? That's just the way it is. You don't sit there and create reports in some nice soft office. I thought that was pretty hilarious.
Can I throw something out about the king?
Yeah, what about?
The way how he was when he was talking to Palm, I guess that was his closure, because I kind of like how it is, because it stopped every other Chimera ant to rule, because like basically like nobody's stronger than the king, and he took that side to humanity, and now there's like nobody else left to take over after them.
You're
Well,
kind of
I
breaking up,
guess
Sean.
that, huh?
You're kind of breaking up.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that in the current state of what the king was, he died. I guess it was more of his closure, because he already knew he was gonna die. So instead of him trying to rule the world the way how he was, he pretty much said that he might as well spend his last days playing with Kirogi. So I guess like after him dying, there's like nobody else can take over as a king or a god after this one. So it was kind of like the closure of like the takeover of the Chimera ants.
Well, at least this chapter. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Which I'm sure some Chimera ants, especially this Gyro guy, which 99.9% of Hunter fans don't give a don't care about at the moment. I think that guy can turn out to be quite the opposite kind of guy. We don't know how powerful he's going to become. Let's see. I want to. Let's see. I want to go ahead and do this. Remember the part in there they had about Diego, the real one, the one who was in the 30th year of his retirement.
Yeah.
And this is what's interesting. Reading a book, you had the dog sleeping, all it takes is a full life, and basically quit while you're ahead. And this guy, he just quit playing the game, right? And he just settled while he was ahead for some quiet life of happiness, right? And now he's thrown in there.
I thought that he faked his death, and then he was just hiding out, like trying to live in like where he was. That's how I took it.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing. He quit. So anyway, yeah. So instead of instead of trying to take over something or dominate something or whatever, he's just somebody that's
He
on
gave up.
board. Yeah, he gave up, but he's happy. He's just kicked back. He's enjoying life. He's sitting, talking about reading poetry, or he's sitting there reading a book. Just he's not sitting there trying to be emperor or king or get a new nin ability or anything. He's just trying to be happy. Evidently, he's being successful, as contrasted against all this other stuff that's going on. And then the king finds Kamugi, right? And the spy, the marshal, the whole. I mean, that was. I want to say that it was interesting to watch, and then during the anime, like I was telling Sean, it went like to end credits, and then when I watched it the first time, that's all I saw, and people were talking about the actual ending, and I'm like, and I went through the end credits, and then there was the actual ending. I will say that I think it's better in the actual end is better in the manga, which is chapter 314, than it is in the anime is pretty good because at least you know who's talking. You can tell who's talking. But the whole dark thing and just the text, I'm gonna be honest, that really kind of made me tear out twice. 2 different times when I watched it. That was the emotional impact of that was devastating. The actual end.
And what else you notice is, remember the king was sprinkling his nin around? He still had that flowing around Kimogi when he was dying.
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, well, he's chock full of radiation poisoning, and she's getting poisoned just be near him. So she's like, yeah, I'm gonna die soon. It was, in a way, if you think about it, it was a selfish act on his own to go near somebody, that could die from being near him, right? It's a selfish act. If he would have, he said, he says, I'm poisoned and you're probably gonna, die from being around me or whatever. If he would have said that, like when he was confronting Palm, if that would have came out, it would have changed everything. And then Palm would have been like, I'm not gonna tell you because she's gonna die.
Palm already knew that.
Well, Palm knew he was gonna die. I don't think that she knew that he was a radioactive problem, or I don't think she would have got as close to him as she did. But maybe she did. But moving past that, it was still a selfish act on his own to go to someone when he knew that he would probably be the death of him. But it's considering her life. It was they were both had such sad tragedies both together. The emotion just kind of carried everything through it. It was pretty, and it was not. I want to ask you guys this: was this romance, or was this just love and affection?
I don't know. I was trying to figure that out myself.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem to be a sexual component to it.
Love doesn't have to be sexual.
It doesn't. Romance doesn't have to be sexual, but normally there's that component at least working toward it. But so I mean, is this just like deep friendship?
Yeah, I think it's that.
I think it's like a soulmate kind of thing.
Yeah. So so it's something. It's that emotional. It's something that can make some people like me cry, or whatever. But it's not. There's no. That you don't even need the rest of that stuff going on because the depth is so strong that you don't need the rest of it.
I mean, I don't even know if like a chimera ant and a human could get those type of feelings for each other because how the hormones and differences and whatnot. But like I think that the king basically found a soulmate in terms of like how she could like be his equal even though she was so weak, and that kind of like impressed upon him about like humans in general, and made him feel sympathy for humans, and made him want to like embrace the strengths of humans. So because she impressed him so much with her ability, even though she was so inferior to him, it made him think, oh, humans have good qualities and good traits, and that's what made him more of a of an idea in his head that he wouldn't mind being human.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
If you think if humans were inferior, and then you find you can't beat them, that kind of destroys the whole inferiority thing right
Like,
there.
and you even see at first when he first starts playing chess with her or whatever it is, he tells her, I think he treats her like a pet. Like, as soon as I'm done getting amusement out of you, I'm going to kill you. Like you're just here to satisfy, my curiosity and whatnot. But as he keeps playing her, she keeps surprising him, and she keeps like he clearly sees her as an inferior being, and she keeps surprising him, and she keeps outwitting him, and then like he gains respect for her, and once he has respect for her, that's when he starts listening to her, and like analyzing her to see like how different she is, and that's when he gravitates to being human, to turning into like a human himself. But as far as, and I think like that relationship that he had, that respect for her, it turned into a type of love, not a romantic love, I wouldn't say, but a type of love that made him just want to be with the person that like redefined his life, like the person that
Yeah.
he was. So that's what he wanted to spend. And maybe for her, he was the only person that ever showed like real interest in her abilities. He was the only person that like gave her so much attention. So maybe for her, her heart might have fell in love with him. I don't know. Possibility. She doesn't even know he's a chimera ant.
Right.
So
And she got an inability when playing him, so it boosted her up. And yeah, they both got a lot from each other. Well, I mean, think of it this way: she was the strategy of the game, and he's sitting there thinking strategies is the king until he's set up. These other people aren't going to be any good at that. So in a way, they were equals in a way, and they really needed each other. So yeah, it was on a lot of different levels. It was pretty amazing.
and she gave him the lap pillow. And in Japanese culture, when you give a guy a lap pillow, it usually means you care about him.
Really.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty incredible. There was another one that I didn't really see it. Didn't see it coming. Um, yeah, yeah. Tagashi's amazing, isn't he?
Yeah, I like that. I like how he can make two different people love each other with like two different. Like the more I think about it, the more I feel like she loved him as a woman loves a man, but that he loved her in terms of like as an inspiration that changed his life. You know,
Right.
that's what I feel like. I think that's such a great dynamic that Tagashi wrote there.
Unlikely, but pulled it off. It was pretty amazing. Something he could, it hit a lot of people. I used to watch King of Lightning. He got a little emotional when he was talking about the episode. It was pretty powerful. But okay, is there anything Hunter x Hunter like except? Oh, also there was something else, Sean. You were talking about it. It says there's no chapter.
Yeah.
Break.
So hey, next week in the anime we get Parison.
So yeah.
Yeah, we get the elections in
Yeah,
person.
we get the election arc starting next week. I'm guessing they'll probably only show an episode or two before they end it, but that's something, huh?
Yeah, it says July 14th. We'll be back July 14th, along with a special project. What can we get a special project?
Yeah. No, I wonder if I don't think they're going to go into filler, so they'll probably just end it. Don't you think they would end the anime soon?
I have no idea. They haven't really done fillers under
Because Hunter x Hunter 2011, it came out in 2011, has been a show without filler completely. Like that was like the goal of this show was no filler. You know, make it as true to the manga as possible and go on with it. And now they've got new manga material, so I think it's probably a good idea if they just stop it and then resume it like in a year or two when there's more manga.
Yeah, I don't like filler. I'd rather I vote with that also. I'd rather just stop and stay true to it, no filler.
Maybe the next one, maybe like a one-time thing. They go do like an hour episode, and then after that, just a regular the 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't know. I don't know if they'd do that, but
Yeah, they might just set up for the Dark Continent arc, like have the elections, finish that, and then like you know have like a teaser of Beyond Netero and like the Dark Continent, and then they'll end it. So it's like you know to make you want to read the manga to find out about it. It might be like a marketing strategy.
yeah.
Yes.
Something's interesting. I want to go ahead and talk about a couple things, whatever, before we go ahead and close out. But there's actually, Sean was talking about this. I don't remember which. It's somewhere past episode 314. I don't remember how far in it is. It's actually like a whole episode is of Kite, female version of Kite, right? Or the Kite's brain, or anyhow, however you want it. It's with that. Remember the koala bear that would spit? It was like bullets, spit water. Yeah. And it's got the. I don't know if you've read that chapter, but it's got Kite in there, and the koala is there, and Gon visits her or whatever. So it's just about the whole thing about Gon's, Kite's.
You said that was 314.
No. It's past. No, this stuff here is 314 and 318. It's somewhere past that. I was intending. Yeah, I read it. And I was intending to. Actually, I'm really wanting to go reread the whole series again. To be honest.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It kind of showed how the koala bear was when he was a human, and then because he was gaining some of his memory, and he was talking to Kite. Because they both were Chimera ants, and well, she switched to a girl, and they was pretty much sharing their life story.
But guys,
yeah.
I got something to do, so I'm gonna have to drop out a little early. All right?
Well, we're going to go ahead and close this out. I'm just going to do a couple extra things at the end, but we can go ahead and finish out because we've actually completed everything. So, well, anyway, I really appreciate you guys. You guys were awesome. This is an amazing episode, and hopefully you guys will be here tomorrow when we do Naruto, because that was definitely an interesting chapter also.
Yep, I'll be here.
All right, until next time.